This is CNN Breaking News.
There is some breaking news tonight from the Republican convention here in Cleveland. Melania Trump's speech causing a lot of controversy. This is a special CNN Tonight. I'm Don Lynn. Thank you so much for joining us and staying up so late on the night that Donald Trump makes his dramatic entrance. Melania Trump makes a big speech, a speech that sounds a lot like one made by Michelle Obama 8 years ago. We're going to discuss all of that, so let's get right now to my political dream team: Mark Preston, Kayleigh McEnany, Bakari Sellers, Amanda Carpenter, and Andy Dean, who did a heck of a job flying over here. That's a long walk, Andy. You out of breath?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Let's talk about this controversy tonight about part of Melania Trump's speech and comparisons between that and Michelle Obama back in 2008. I want you to listen to side-by-side comparisons of the two speeches.
Barack and I were raised with so many of the same values, like you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
My parents impressed on me the values that you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise,
that you treat people with dignity and respect, even if you don't know them and even if you don't agree with them.
That you treat people with respect. They thought and showed me values and morals in their daily life. That is a lesson that I continue to pass along to our son. And we need to pass those lessons on to the many generations to follow.
And Barack and I set out to build lives guided by these values and to pass them on to the next generation, because we want our children and all children in this nation to know that the only limit to the height of your achievements is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them.
Because we want our children in this nation to know that the only limit to your achievements is the strength of your dreams and your willingness to work for them.
Kayleigh, what's your reaction?
Oh, well, first of all, it looks as if someone who helped her with this speech used a portion of Michelle Obama's speech. That's not good. That's inexcusable. And I can understand why Democrats want to make this the headline of the night, because tonight was a phenomenal night for Donald Trump. Not only that, we saw someone who was an immigrant to this country, who achieved the American dream, who came from Slovenia as a poor girl and made it here. That is what we saw tonight. It was a phenomenal night for her. She had grace. She had strength. Something happened with the speechwriter. Every person who gives a speech has a speechwriter, with the exception of possibly Donald Trump, who doesn't use the teleprompter. Someone misled her. That's what it appears to have happened, and I can understand why Democrats want to make this the headline, because tonight was a phenomenal night for Donald Trump.
Do you think the speechwriter set her up? I mean, I don't know. Andy, Andy, you're making an odd face over there. What?
I mean, they're kind of close, but I mean, look. I'll tell you this, Melania Trump.
Switch that one.
Melania Trump is an amazing businesswoman. She's extremely smart. I know her personally. I spent a lot of time with her. She's extremely clever. And anytime she's going to be a future first lady, is giving a speech about children and
Andy, as you're saying
achievement.
Saying that the words are up there on the screen.
Okay, so maybe this will help. I haven't done a side-by-side word comparison, so this may help.
Yeah.
As a former speechwriter, I mean, this is just mismanagement. Someone left a draft. Clearly, if you were going to look at writing a speech for Melania tonight, you would look at what Michelle Obama said previously. She gave a really good speech.
Of course, you look back over great speeches, right?
Yes, and you would look at it, maybe somebody left down a draft, but somewhere along the way, someone has to catch this. This isn't on Melania, isn't on just one speechwriter. This is a reflection of mismanagement of the convention, I would say. This wasn't the only error tonight. This is the error that will drown out other ones, including speakers going far too late into prime time. And I think this plays into the idea that Donald Trump doesn't know what he's doing on the national stage.
Yeah. Bakari, you actually, we were sitting there and you were like, wait a minute. We kind of noticed we both at the same time said, that speech sounds a little bit familiar, right, as we were watching it
in
tonight.
rehashing this, it did, because I think that there was a great deal of pride that came along with Michelle Obama's speech in 2008. And so there were certain tones and familiarities that a lot of people...
You picked up on it first.
Well, I mean, there were people in the Twitter sphere that did as well. But I will tell you that... this is plagiarism. You could say whatever you want to say, but you're responsible for the words that come out of your mouth. At the end of the day, you are responsible for the words that come out of your mouth. It's not like Joe Biden, when he got out of the race, when he was identified to be a plagiarizer, said that, oh my God, my speechwriter did it. But I mean, I just sit back and this is a moment in which I said that Melania Trump gave a speech tonight that she didn't really invoke anything personal, no personal anecdotes about Donald Trump. I get that. But at the end of the day, she was absolutely stunning. She was beautiful. She delivered a great speech. At the end of the day, it's good. But then after reviewing it and seeing what we saw, I say that, I was wondering why there was no red meat in the speech, because it was full of blue meat.
I have to say, Bakari and I were sitting there watching the speech, and he said, I'm not bowled over by the speech, but she looks damn good tonight. She's fine as hell.
It is unfortunate, largely because she can be well-spoken. She is impressive. This was an opportunity for Donald Trump to look good by presenting his wife. And she should have been able to explain what kind of woman she is to the public. And you can't do that when you take Michelle Obama.
I want Mark Preston to weigh in on this, and then I'll let you guys finish. She spoke before the speech. She spoke tonight about her speech. Let's listen, and then you and I will discuss this.
Has she gone over the speech with you? Did you practice it on the plane?
I read once over it, and that's all, because I wrote it and with a little help as possible. So.
Okay, so
a lot of work goes into these speeches.
Let's do a couple things. Let's go back 1 hour. 1 hour ago, we all walked out of that convention center and said they had a good convention night.
Right.
By and large, there might have been some errors they could have gone over. She gave a good speech, a low bar, because people didn't think she was going to do well. She did fantastic, okay? Here we are now, an hour later. There appears to be plagiarism, and this is something that's going to overshadow all day tomorrow what was a fairly successful night for the Trumps. I know you don't agree with me, Kaylee, but that's the fact of the matter.
I don't. That's a rather cryptic vision of what happened, because what happened is we had 12 hours rather of a really good day. And nothing can take away from this woman who stood there and was strong and was confident and did something none of us could do in front of 20,000 people. Nothing can take away from that. There was a mistake.
But there is something that can take away from it.
There was a mistake with the speechwriter.
There's not a mistake.
Yes.
She plagiarized.
No.
Let me tell you
how do you know that she did that? That she personally plagiarized?
Because you're responsible for the word. But even more importantly, this is the most important part of this. The #1 character witness tonight, or this whole convention for Donald Trump, is his wife, Melania. And I could have come in here with very sharp criticism about the fact that she had no personal anecdotes about when they first met, or how they did,
by the way.
Oh, I did. I had them prepared. But even more importantly, if that is your wife, if that is your #1 character witness, why can't she say good things about you without actually repeating words that Michelle Obama said directly about her husband?
What I love so much is that Rudy Giuliani predicted what we just heard from you. Rudy Giuliani said, in the media, there are people who are out to assassinate Donald Trump's character. And we just heard you presume. We just heard you presume that she herself wrote those words.
We are both lawyers. Kaylee,
We're both
I
lawyers.
think Amanda makes a very good point. This isn't character assassination. This is simply pointing out that if you're the spouse if you're someone's spouse, shouldn't you be able to tell a personal anecdote? And wasn't her whole position to soften him? And when I met Donald Trump, he was whatever.
And
he wooed me. He whatever.
And she has. And Anderson Cooper just said on the air 1 hour ago, many of the things she said in the speech, she said personally to me in interviews. She's told anecdotes. Those same words that she said in that speech, she's echoed to me personally in interviews.
Can we do this? Let's just go to where we are in the world of reality here, okay? This is going to cloud the night. That's an absolutism. It is a fatal error for the campaign. Absolutely not. Are people going to look at Melania Trump and think any worse of her?
No.
No, absolutely not. But is it going to cloud what was a successful night tomorrow? Absolutely. Yeah. There's no question about that.
And there's still no reaction from the Trump campaign tonight. What should the Trump campaign do moving forward?
they should put her out for some more interviews so that she can speak in an authentic voice and actually reveal some more of her personality, reveal true anecdotes. They're going to have to plow over this, put her out there a little more. I realize she may be resistant to that because this was their first big opportunity, but the only way to get over it is to put her out there more.
I can't help but look, Andy, I mean, what is that look on your face?
No, you don't want her to talk?
I don't think he has no answers.
Look, the word plagiarism is a little strong. If she started the speech with 7 years ago, and then you could say, oh, okay, she's lifting things.
My
but
word is my bond.
Look, I'd like to look at the text side by side, the entire speech, and if it's 4 or 5 lines in a gigantic
Can we put the speech up the entire
you could say it's inspired by,
let's put that part up.
but not direct plagiarism. I don't know. I don't know.
At least she should come out and say, listen, Michelle Obama gave a great speech. I wanted to
hand it to Andy.
Yeah, here you go. But you know what Donald Trump should do first? What Donald Trump does very well.
He should defend his wife right now.
All right.
What he should
No,
do.
he should fire
Andy,
somebody.
We want you to listen. Here it is. Let's listen. Play it.
Barack and I were raised with so many of the same values. Like, you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
My parents impressed on me the values that you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise.
That you treat people with dignity and respect, even if you don't know them and even if you don't agree with them.
That you treat people with respect.
Pause.
Yeah.
Pause. Andy?
So I've officially switched my position to no comment.
Okay.
Okay, come on, I will throw her a bone. She's a political rookie. I mean, go back to the Donald Trump playbook. I shouldn't be able to have to cover for this better than you. Come on now, Andy. She's a rookie. She was reviewing possibly Michelle Obama's speech. It was a great speech, and something got left on the draft. Just be honest about what happened. I find that plausible.
Let Andy respond. No, go ahead, Andy.
No, I thought she did a nice job. I think there'll be a little bit of attack the media for nitpicking, and I think that it's close, but it's not so. Okay, it is kind of close.
Well, it's important, though, for the audience to understand how this works. It's not as if when someone gives a speech, they write it themselves. There are speech writers. This is a presidential campaign. There are people who pour over it. I agree with Amanda. It should have been caught. But this is not something that we can attribute to Melania Trump that she plagiarized.
Only though by the fact she told NBC.
But she told NBC.
No, she did not.
Yes, she did.
Again, taking it out of context, she said, I wrote this with as little help as possible.
Except the part that was plagiarized. The problem with this whole conversation is that Donald Trump and his campaign have set the bar so low that now all of a sudden plagiarism is, oh my God, that was a mistake.
Let's talk about. I want to talk about that setting the bar so low, because as I was sitting there watching the speeches, right, and people were like, "Oh, this speech was great," and I'm like, I wasn't feeling that the speeches were all that great. I thought there were some moments. I thought Rudy Giuliani ruled the night. You may not have liked his speech. He had the crowd with him. He had great big applause. Everybody else, I think, paled in comparison to Rudy Giuliani. But the bar was so low. I was sitting there, my colleagues were like, oh yeah, they were great, they were great, they were great. And now we're talking about Melania. I didn't think the speeches were that great. Maybe I'm the only one. We'll discuss that. And we'll also continue the controversy around what appears to be certain sections of the speech that were lifted from another speech. We'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. This is, can we call it CNN After Dark, or CNN Tonight, or CNN This Morning? And we are back now live at the CNN Grill. A big speech from Melania Trump tonight in Cleveland, a speech that plagiarized Michelle Obama in 2008, at least that's what it appears to have done. Back with me now, Mark Preston, CNN Politics Editor, Executive Editor, Kayleigh McEnany, a Donald Trump supporter, Kari Sellers, a Hillary Clinton supporter, Amanda Carpenter, a former Communications Director for Senator Ted Cruz, and Andy Dean, who's not sure tonight. He's on the fence now. He's a Trump supporter. I want to talk about, let's continue to discuss this. I want to play Melania Trump in that the speech, the part that appears to be lifted, and then we'll discuss. Listen.
My parents impressed on me the values that you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise, that you treat people with respect. They thought and showed me values and morals in their daily life. That is a lesson that I continue to pass along to our son. And we need to pass those lessons on to the many generations to follow. Because we want our children in this nation to know that the only limit to your achievements is the strength of your dreams and your willingness to work for them.
So Kaylee, first to you. Not only is this, it appears to be lifted, and you admit, she is a speechwriter, give her that. She is a novice. I give you that. I think you're correct on that. But I also give Bakari, at the end of the day, the words do come out of your mouth, and you are responsible for those words. But Donald Trump, Barack Obama is the enemy. He talks about him constantly, his values. She is touting the same values of the people that they despise, or the values of the people that they despise. They despise those values, and now they're touting the same values in a very similar speech.
Well, the values she's touting are those that you would expect any loving wife to have for her husband, the same values that you would hope people have when they love humanity and love their neighbors. So I think those are all values we hope most people in humanity have. Now, looking to the content of this, do any of us on this panel think Melania Trump sat there and said, I'm going to read Michelle Obama's speech because that will help my husband? No. A speechwriter did this. She trusted the speechwriter. She read the words. It should have been caught, yes, but nothing will take away from the amazing story she told tonight of coming from Slovenia, admiring the American dream, harnessing it, and achieving it.
You said that. She had a great moment.
I give you, she had a great moment. And I will repeat that over and over again because nothing.
And she looked amazing, and she had a great moment. And that is that's a tough thing to do. But again, you don't think it's your?
No, I think that's worthless spin. I've done it before. When you have a candidate that you support that sometimes backs you in a corner. We all have to admit that. We're commentators, we're pundits sometimes. But this is.
Can I give you another scenario? That Melania Trump actually, as she said, wrote most of the speech, and maybe she saw Michelle Obama's speech and didn't think much of it, and said, you know what? What she says is,
if Michelle Obama gave that speech in 2008 and lifted Nancy Reagan, then the world would be on fire. We all know that. The problem with the Donald Trump campaign is that Donald Trump's campaign is built on one thing, and you do it better than anybody else.
Thank you.
Authenticity.
Yeah,
you are who you are. That is why people gravitate towards the Donald Trump campaign, because of authenticity. As a journalist, you have authenticity. You have your voice. What is the number one thing that underscores or will undercut that authenticity anytime? Plagiarism. She literally lifted the words from Michelle Obama. And you know what? I appreciate it because I've always thought Michelle Obama was a bad woman, and I'm glad Melania Trump thinks so too.
I can't let you get away with that.
Bad in the sense of bad.
Good.
Even I know that.
I can't let you get away.
No, I just want to get it from the audience.
I can't let you get away from that because we're talking about 4 sentences of a speech that the candidate's spouse said, and that is very rich coming from someone whose candidate lied and was contradicted by the FBI on 4 different points.
Can we talk about your candidate?
So if we want to talk about
this to Benghazi?
Let's
compare it to Benghazi.
No, I'm talking about the FBI director contradicting your candidate on 4 different points, and basically she lied. There's no way around it. So if I'm going to talk about character and who to trust,
so you admit right now that Melania Trump lied?
No.
So what are you saying?
What I am admitting is those lines, yes, they were taken from Michelle Obama's speech.
She plagiarized.
No, you don't know.
You just said they were taken from the speech.
Were you in the room with her when she wrote the speech?
Or not?
Were you in the room with her when she wrote the speech?
I know who gave the speech.
Were you in the room when she wrote the speech?
Who gave the speech?
She gave the speech.
Perfect. So
you don't know how many people were involved in writing that speech. You don't know if a speechwriter gave her those lines and said, this is what you're trying to say.
There were people who put Brian Williams' words in a teleprompter, but Brian Williams had to be responsible for lying. What are we talking about?
Brian Williams told a personal anecdote that was just simply false. So that's a really bad comparison.
Let's bring this back.
I'm a Republican. I want to see a good convention happen, but this is why it feels like we're living in an alternate universe. Very clearly, she plagiarized. Just own up to it and move on it. Be honest about it. Put her out there, have her give some real authentic anecdotes, and move on.
And
don't try to spin this for no reason.
Okay, Amanda, that is the frustration with that is the frustration with many, I shouldn't say with many, with this campaign, so to speak, is the lack of owning up and taking
Yes, you cannot believe anything that comes out of the mouths of the Trump campaign many times. I mean, even the floor action we saw, Paul Manafort coming out from talking to Republicans and saying Jeff Flake never stood up to him, and Jeff Flake then confirming to reporters, yes, I did stand up to Trump in the meeting. So you literally cannot believe anything they say. You have to fact check everything, including Melania.
Okay, so then how do you explain that? That's the liberal media. So then how do you explain Melania Trump then if they can't blame that on the liberal media, then what is it?
I'm not the liberal media. I'm a conservative, but for gosh sakes, can we call a fact a fact?
Well, no one
and the
here,
fact
no
is,
one
is
here
that
is
she
saying,
lifted words from Michelle Obama.
No
it
one on
probably
this
was
panel.
a silly mistake,
No
but
one
don't
on this
blame it
panel.
on the liberal media when Melania did it herself.
I haven't done that, first of all, but no one on this panel,
alternate reality.
not a single, no. Okay, Amanda, let's deal in facts. You want to deal in facts? No one on this panel is denying that those words were lifted.
Okay.
We are saying, did she herself take those words?
Okay.
Or, as we know, all speeches are written, with the exception of Donald Trump, who doesn't use a teleprompter for the most part. Did a speechwriter take those words and she didn't realize it?
Andy denied it at first, and then he had to change his part.
Yeah, I'm not sure. The speech, I want to do some more analysis of the speech.
Oh my God!
I do.
All right,
I like
go
it.
ahead. Yeah.
Thank you.
This is the first time I've seen you this contrite, Andy. But go
Thank
ahead,
you.
Mark.
This is a moment, by the way.
This is a moment
Andy
for-
is just sitting there. Let us just say what has happened, where we are, and where we're going, okay? Because that's the bottom line. Because we can sit here and talk about it all night, and we will, and it'll be interesting, and it'll be fun, and it will happen all day tomorrow in some way, shape, or form. Melania Trump is not a politician, okay?
Yeah.
So she's not going to be held to the same standard as Donald Trump or any other politician. She is the wife of a politician. She will be given a little bit of grace because of this. Yes, there will be blame put on a speechwriter, as there should be, okay? What is bad for Melania Trump is that she just hours earlier said that she, quote unquote, I read once over it, and that's all because I wrote it with a little help as possible, okay?
As little help as possible.
That is problematic for her. Is it fatal? Absolutely not. Is this distracting to a convention that, by all accounts, got off to a very good start tonight? Absolutely, and this will be the discussion.
Okay, that said,
that's it.
That said, what if she did write most of it herself? And what if she did take some of it from Michelle Obama's speech? And what if she owns up to it and says, I thought the First Lady gave a great speech, and I took part of it. So what's the big deal?
Well, then usually when you do stuff like that, you start the sentence with saying, as Michelle Obama said in 2008 about Barack Obama, that my values are your values and our values go together.
It's called
and
attribution.
Every child,
It's called attribution.
It's called attribution.
Yeah.
If you don't have attribution, then most people call it plagiarism.
Okay.
It's not the act, it's always the cover-up.
But
just own up to it and
But
move
no,
on.
we
right.
don't know that she's going to cover it up. We need to wait to hear from her to explain this.
Some of the greatest moments of tonight, and there was a great moment. If you like WWE,
The introduction.
Yes.
talking about that right
I know, that was awesome.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. More awesomeness from the RNC convention in Cleveland. This is CNN Tonight, This Morning, After Dark from Cleveland. We'll be right back. There it is.